Part 48. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 471. Senior, just say whatever you want. I want to tell the white-robed emperor that I have no regrets following him. I just hope that you will not forget me. After all, being forgotten is more terrible than death. Senior, I will definitely bring it to Master. Xuanhuan nodded solemnly. Thank you, kid. Senior, since you are Master's follower, you are Master's apprentice in my heart. I should call you Uncle Master. So you don't have to be polite to Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan said slowly. Hearing these two words, the immortal Emperor of the Heavens trembled noticeably, tears flashed in his eyes, and then he said with emotion. Ha ha ha, good, what a great Uncle Master, alas, it's a pity that I'm not qualified yet, but I'm satisfied. This is the first time we meet, Uncle Master, and I don't have anything to give you. This imperial technique that embodies my lifelong insights, I hope it can help you, please don't reject Uncle Master's kindness. Then, the immortal Emperor of the Heavens pointed at Xuanhuan, and in an instant, an imperial technique appeared in Xuanhuan's mind, the Emperor of the Heavens Sutra. Uncle Master, such a generous gift, it can be regarded as a little selfish of mine. After all, before I fell, I never thought of looking for a disciple. Since you, Xuanhuan, are the disciple of Master Bai, and you call me Uncle Master, you naturally have the qualifications. Okay, no need to say more, little Xuanhuan, go, your road is still very long, I hope you don't let Master down. The immortal Emperor of the Heavens said with a smile, and after taking a deep look at Xuanhuan, the phantom slowly disappeared. Xuanhuan murmured in a low voice. I will never let down my uncle's inheritance. After that, Xuanhuan also walked in front of Zhang Chang'an and Xianyuan Minjiao. Xuanhuan, what did you just talk about with that great emperor? Zhang Chang'an asked curiously. Huh? Can't you hear it? Xuanhuan looked at the two of them, and they shook their heads slightly. There is a ban blocking us, we can only see, not hear. Nothing, the great emperor just now is called the immortal Emperor of the Heavens, and he is the follower of the Master. Xuanhuan said slowly. The follower of the adults. So dreamy. I seem to have seen the immortal Emperor of the Heavens in history books. He seems to be a mythical emperor in the chaotic era, but unfortunately he died for some unknown reason in the end. So, Senior Zhongtian recognized your identity, right, Xuanhuan? Minjiao said slowly. Well, Minjiao is right, and finally Senior Zhongtian gave me his inheritance, Zhongtian Emperor Sutra. I don't want to say the word envy anymore. Okay, let's not talk about this. Have you made your choice? Then, Xuanhuan asked slowly. Well, I choose the second one, because there is an ancient scripture about reincarnation in it. Not only that, but there is also an emperor technique that is very suitable for Lejun. I think I should be able to meet him on this road. After all, these roads appear randomly. Maybe the second one also appears in Lejun's world. Zhang Chang'an said slowly. I chose the 12th one. I don't know why. I always feel that I must go. Then, Xuanhuan also carefully explored the 12 ancient starry roads. Okay, in that case, I will choose the 12th option like Minjiao. That's a pity. Okay, Minjiao, Xuanhuan, we will go our separate ways first. I hope we can meet again. Yes. Yes. After that, the three of them immediately stepped into the ancient starry sky road they chose. Suddenly, after a dizzy moment, Xuanhuan and Minjiao saw that they were in the deep space again. The difference was that there were magnificent ancient cities floating in the starry sky. Xuanhuan, look, there is a stone tablet here, and it says, Chaos to the Underworld Ancient Road. Minjiao immediately pointed to a stone tablet in front and said. Yes, it should be the name of this ancient starry sky road. At this moment, around the two, many Tianjiao had already looked at them. Hey, two beauties are here, hee hee. Tisk tisk, this figure, this face, especially the white-haired girl, I like it. I just don't know which world's genius is it. Anyway, we can't afford to provoke them. These two are just 9th level god kings, but they can defeat the phantom of the emperor. It can be imagined that they are definitely demonic geniuses with an imperial family background. Has Shui Yi's strength been hidden by her, so it has not been completely exposed? Not necessarily, after all, the phantom of the emperor in battle also has strengths and weaknesses. Maybe these two are just picking up leaks. Well, that makes sense, but I'm still interested in that ancient city. Let's go in and take a look. Suddenly, many geniuses just took a few more glances at Shui Yi and Mingyu, and then hurried into the ancient city. Beauty is not worth mentioning in front of improving strength. Of course, there are also many geniuses who don't have eyes. Two beauties, I see there are only two of you, you must be quite lonely. How about teaming up with me? Don't worry, I will definitely protect you. Suddenly, a man who looked only delicate and handsome, wearing a dark blue robe, with his lapels brushing the ground, and his cuffs inlaid with delicate golden patterns, and a carved jade pendant tied around his waist, looked noble and extraordinary. At this moment, the man looked at Shui Yi and Mingyu with a hint of greed, and said in his heart, "These two are really stunning beauties, this young master must take them down as furnace tripods." Hee hee, sorry, we don't need them. Mingyu refused coldly, and as for Shui Yi, she didn't even give the man a glance. You two don't believe in this young master's strength, so in that case, let me introduce myself first. This young master's name is Lu Su, and I am the son of the emperor of the Lu family in Luo Tianyu. My current realm is Chaos God King. Lu Su had a smile on his lips, and he was very confident in his family and his own strength. Hearing these words, it immediately caused a lot of excitement in the crowd. Lu Shenyu, Lu family, I seem to have some impression, is it the Lu family with the supreme one? Yes, it's that imperial family, wow, supreme, it's really scary. I heard that Lu Su is also a very powerful genius in Lu Shenyu. Nonsense, who is not a demon genius at this age to reach Chaos God King? Hearing Lu Su's self-narration, Minjiao showed a trace of impatience on her face. Sorry, we refuse, and we don't need to team up with anyone. Sorry. After saying that, Minjiao was ready to pull Shui Yi into the ancient city. You two, our young master can take a fancy to you too, don't be ungrateful, you know how many beautiful women in Lushenyu want to get close to our young master, I advise you to be sensible, you can also suffer less pain. Suddenly, a lackey beside Lu Su scolded loudly. Just as Shui Yi frowned and prepared to take action, an extremely familiar voice came from behind the two of them. Ants, make so much noise. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de La Chang. Chapter 472. Boom. Then, a peerless sword light was like a sudden flash of lightning. In an instant, before the doglegger beside Lu Su had time to react, he was directly disintegrated into nothingness by the sword light. The whole process was so fast that Lu Su couldn't even react. There was no time to react. And this scene also frightened all the talented people watching the show. What did I see? No more. With one sword strike, this genius who is in the realm of the 9th level God King is gone. Who is this swordsman monster? Emperor Lin. After Minjiao saw the person in front of her clearly, she said with great surprise. Hey, Minjiao, Sister Sui, we finally meet. Emperor Lin's figure appeared in front of the two of them and said excitedly. Your strength? Minjiao asked suspiciously. Hey, it's just a chance. By the way, Who is this person? I kept it behind and heard them grinding and chirping. Then, Emperor Lin pointed at Lu Su and said. An annoying guy, always pestering me and Shui Yi. Minjiao said displeasedly. Oh, I really don't know how to live or die. Minjiao, Sister Sui, do you need me to take action to deal with this ant? Don't worry, an early stage Chaos God King ant can do it with just one sword. Emperor Lin frowned slightly, stared at Lu Su and said, the latter suddenly had an intuition in his heart, this person is invincible. But after all, as a disciple of the Lu family and a Chaos God King, it is naturally impossible for him to swallow this breath. Who the hell are you? Lu Su said viciously, his eyes filled with naked murderous intent. Immortal Realm, Lin family, Emperor Lin. Emperor Lin glanced at Lu Su and said lightly, if he hadn't entered the road to all realms before, it might have been a bit difficult to fight against Lu Su, but it was different now. He could easily kill the opponent with one sword. It's so weird that he's so awesome, it turns out he's a genius from the fairyland. Yes, after all, they destroyed the Outland before, and I don't know how many opportunities they got. If that's the case, does that mean that those two peerless beauties are also from the Immortal Realm? Damn, the Immortal Realm is really scary. There have been terrifying creatures like the Qing Emperor, the Mortal Emperor, and the Invincible Double Eyes before. Now even the geniuses of this era are so terrifying. That sword just now, I didn't even think about it. Caught, it's too fast. Emperor Lin? I seem to have some impression. I heard my ancestor say before that he had been to the Immortal Realm before. This Emperor Lin seems to be the Emperor's son of the Lin family, and he is also a young Emperor. It's so damn abstract. The current peerless genius is too powerful. At this moment, several people in the crowd were just about to leave. After hearing everyone's discussion, they stopped instantly. They are the geniuses of the Immortal Realm, they are really powerful. Mu-11 said slowly. Well, that's right, Emperor Lin's swordsmanship gave me the urge to fight. I really want to know which one of us is better. Dugu Kyubai's eyes were flashing with fire. Wan'er, what do you think? Mu-11's eyes flashed brightly and she said to Xuanhuan who was in a daze beside her. Yes, these people are none other than Mu-11, Xuanhuan and Dugu Kyufei, the emperors of the Immortal Sword Palace in the Eternal Upper Realm. She is very strong, unimaginably strong. Wan'er, what you are talking about is, that Emperor Lin is still. No, the one in the middle, the white-haired girl. Xuanhuan shook her head and said. After Mu-11 was confused for a while, her beautiful eyes kept flashing, and she asked cautiously. Wan'er, don't tell me that this white-haired girl made you fearful. Damn it, it's really fake. Are you so strong? Dugu Kyubai said in shock. Although I really don't want to admit it, but this is indeed a fact. From the time I was born to now, there are only two people who can make me feel fear. One is that adult, and the other is this white-haired girl. Of course, the fear this girl gave me was short-lived, just for a moment. Xuanhuan stared at Shui Yi and said. Tisk, it seems that the ancestors are right. Our biggest opponent is not those ancient races or hidden races, but the Immortal Realm. Mu-11 sighed and said. By the way, in that case, should we go say hello? After all, the relationship between that adult and the Immortal Realm. Wait until we enter the city. Good. On the other side, after Lu Su heard Emperor Lin's self-introduction, a sinister look flashed in his eyes, and he said in a fierce tone. Since you are the Emperor's son, don't you think it's too embarrassing to attack a God King? Haha, so what? If you want to regain your face, just say so. I will accompany you to the end. Of course, the price may be death. Emperor Lin said casually. You. Suddenly, Lu Su burst out with wisps of terrifying murderous intent. Looking at Emperor Lin, he looked as if he wanted to cut him into pieces. Young master, don't be impulsive. We don't know the other party's strength too well. What's more, those two women are certainly not simple. In today's battle, we may suffer some losses. A charming beauty next to Lu Su immediately persuaded her that she was born with a pair of eye skills to detect others. When she was detecting the three people in Sui just now, although the physiques of the three people could not be seen, they still gave her an incomparable feeling of terror. Intuition. Then what do you think we should do? I can't bear to take this breath. Young master, we should enter the city first and search for opportunities. We will always get revenge in the future. If it doesn't work, I'll let you. The enchanting woman said extremely charmingly. Okay, let's see what you see first. Lu Su touched the woman's plump thigh with a big hand, and a trace of imperceptible disgust and hatred flashed in the enchanting woman's eyes. Okay, Emperor Lin, stop talking nonsense and enter the city quickly. Shui said slowly, facing such an ant, she was not even interested in paying attention to it. Well, since Sister Sui has said so, let's go in first. After finishing speaking, the three of them ignored Lu Su and entered the ancient city directly. Lu Su looked at the three of them from a distance, with a cold look in his eyes like a poisonous snake. Just wait for me, and you two stinky women, I will torture you severely. Ruthless, they're gone. Mu-11 said hurriedly. Let's go into the city too. At this moment, the city is completely different from the outside. The lights are brightly lit everywhere, and the city is resplendent. Wisps of powerful aura are constantly erupting in the city. This place feels similar to the Imperial City in the Immortal realm. I didn't expect that there was a cave. I thought it was a dead city. Emperor Lin looked at the surrounding environment and said slowly. Indeed, the illusion here is not much different from the Imperial City, it's just a little smaller. Xuanhuan Minjiao said from the side. By the way, Minjiao, Sister Sui, why don't we find a place to eat and have a couple of drinks first? We're not in a hurry anyway. Emperor Lin then suggested. Sui, what do you think? Minjiao looked at Shui aside and said. Ken. Just in time to find out what's going on here. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, Met the Empress's Apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 473. After a while, the three of them arrived at the most luxurious restaurant with the largest number of people in this ancient city. Three geniuses, what do you want? The waiter said with great enthusiasm. What do you have here? Emperor Lin asked slowly. Hey, young master, here in our Chaos Tongming place, we have delicacies from the mountains and seas, rare treasures, dragon marrow, phoenix gallbladders, everything you want. Only you can't think of it, there's nothing we can't find. The waiter said with great pride. In that case, let me bring you some of the most popular dishes here, and then a bottle of good wine. No problem, please wait. By the way, I want to ask about the situation here. Is it okay? Then, Xuanhuan Minjiao asked slowly. Of course, this guest. Where are you here? Xuanhuan Minjiao said slowly. Our place is called Tongming, also known as the ancient road of Chaos Tongming that you see. It is the outermost boundary of all the heavens and worlds, and the person who founded this ancient city is none other than Lord Chaos Tongming, one of the great emperors of the Chaos era. The reason for its creation is also very simple, just to prevent invasion from outside the world. However, generally speaking, few people know about this place, and few creatures come here. This time it is precisely because of the opening of the road to all realms that there are so many creatures. Each road has 3 imperial arts. I would like to ask, how to obtain them? Emperor Lin asked with dark eyes. Ha ha ha, sir, we don't know this, we need you to explore on your own. Then how are the forces distributed here? Emperor Lin asked again. This is not a secret. There are 3 major family forces and controlling forces on the ancient road to the underworld. The controlling power is just like the literal meaning, they are the controllers of the ancient road of Tongming. They are all the descendants of the Chaos Tongming Emperor, and these 3 major families are the descendants of the followers of the Tongming Emperor. The waiter in the shop did not hide all this and talked about it. What are the strengths of these major forces? Shui asked a rare question. The 3 major families all have a creator. As for the controlling power, we don't know. Okay, we get it, thank you for your confidence. You're welcome, guys. After saying that, the waiter went to prepare dishes for 3 people. It seems that every road should have an ancient city like this, and it is located on the periphery of all the worlds. That is to say, the number of roads that appear represents how many great emperors of the Chaos era, right? Well, that should be the case. It's really a terrifying force. The 3 creators are simply unimaginable. Emperor Lin clicked his tongue and said. By the way, Minjiao, do you know anything about this Emperor Tongming? Emperor Lin then asked again. There are a few sporadic records, but they are too few. I just know that this Emperor Tongming has been on the Eternal Emperor ranking, that's all, Minjiao said lightly. Damn it, I've been on the Eternal Emperor ranking, so awesome. No wonder even the followers are so powerful. Lindy's eyes suddenly widened. After more than 10 minutes, the dishes ordered by the 3 people were finally ready, and they immediately started to eat. It's delicious. This is delicious. Minjiao, Sister Sui, please try it. This is delicious too. Just as the 3 of them were eating happily, a cold female voice interrupted them. Hello everyone. Can we get to know each other? It was Mu11 who spoke, and then Xuanhuan and Dugukaiubai appeared behind them. You are. Emperor Lin frowned and said. You misunderstood that we didn't mean any harm. Let me introduce, my name is Mu11, this is Xuanhuan, and this is Dugukaiubai. We are all geniuses from the eternal upper world, from the immortal sword heavenly palace. Mu11 said generously. After hearing this introduction, the 3 people in Sui immediately stopped eating, kept looking at the 3 of them, and said curiously. The upper realm of eternity. Is this the world where the spirit race was wiped out by the adults? Yes, yes, wait a minute, the adults you just mentioned are young men dressed in white. Mu11 said in shock. Damn it, have you seen it before? Emperor Lin was also extremely shocked. That's right, Your Excellency stayed in our fairy sword heavenly palace for a while at that time. Xuanhuan on the side said slowly, but her eyes were on Shui from beginning to end. Hearing this sentence, Sui and others immediately became interested. Come, do it, tell us in detail. Emperor Lin said with great enthusiasm. Trouble. Later, Xuanhuan talked to a few people about what happened to Li Bai in the Immortal Sword Palace. The road to immortality, sounds so awesome. Tisk, I didn't expect adults to have such fun. Emperor Lin said slowly as if he had discovered something new. Speaking of which, we can be considered a family. After all, you are our eternal savior in the upper world. At that time, our ancestors warned us that we must not have any conflict when we meet the geniuses of the immortal realm. That's why we came here to get to know each other. Please don't mind if you're disturbing me. Mu11 said slowly. Ha ha ha, no need to do that. I haven't introduced myself yet. My name is Lin Di, the son of the Lin family in the fairyland. This is Xuanhuan Minjiao, the daughter of the Xuanhuan family. As for this one, It's Sister Xuanhuan. Lindy introduced the three people. I have a question for Miss Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan, who was eating, suddenly turned around and looked Xuanhuan in the eye. Excuse me. Xuanhuan immediately avoided Xuanhuan's eyes. Why are you staring at me? Xuanhuan asked in confusion. He, let me explain. Wan'er practices Tai Shangwu ruthlessness. Miss Xuanhuan, you are the second person who makes her feel fear. Mu11 on the side said with a smile. Tai's Hangwu ruthlessness, is the kind of practice that is said to abandon the 7 emotions and 6 desires. Minjiao asked suddenly. Yes, Wan'er has already gotten rid of her fear, but when she saw Miss Xuanhuan outside the city, she felt fear again, so she kept staring at Xuanhuan. I'm curious, who was the first one? Xuanhuan asked slowly. That sir. My master. Xuanhuan said in surprise. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 474. Upon hearing Xuanhuan's words, Xuanhuan, Mu11 and Dugukaiubai suddenly felt a storm in their hearts. They were dumbfounded and looked at Xuanhuan in shock. The girl in snow clothes just said, Sir, is your master? Xuanhuan said in disbelief, with a look of astonishment on her face. Xuanhuan nodded lightly. Everyone in the entire immortal realm knew about this matter, and there was nothing to hide. Our luck is really so good. Mu11 pursed her lips and said helplessly. Damn it, I didn't expect to meet each other so soon. Should we say we are lucky or bad? Dugukaiubai's eyes were full of fighting spirit after being amazed. What happened to you guys? You're not so shocked, are you? Emperor Lin asked in confusion. Our great emperors in the eternal upper world have warned us that this time our biggest opponent on the road to all realms is the immortal realm, the master's apprentice, which is this girl in snow. Mu11's eyes sparkled and she looked at Xuanhuan with a gleaming look. To tell you the truth, even we think that the emperor's crown this time definitely belongs to Sister Xuanhuan. After all, Sister Xuanhuan is really terrifying. Emperor Lin said with a smile. Well, indeed. Minjiao also nodded. You don't need to care. Putting aside the filter of being my master's disciple, I am just a small boat among all living beings. Xuanhuan shook his head and said. Xuanhuan, let me ask you rudely, what state are you in and what kind of physique are you? Mu11 asked extremely curiously. There is no need to be so cautious. Since you have all met Master, you are naturally our friends. The physique is a body of disaster. As for the realm, if I can now, I can break through the eternal God King immediately. Xuanhuan said slowly. Hearing these words, the breathing of the three people became rapid. This talent is so evil. As expected of that master's disciple, this talent is even more terrifying than that of Emperor Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan is the genius of the era. Since then, what should Xuanhuan do? Era Genius Enhanced Edition Plus. Who is the Emperor Xuanhuan you speak of? Minjiao immediately grasped the key points in these sentences and asked. Well, he is one of the most powerful geniuses in our eternal upper world, and he is also the emperor's son of the Daijun clan. Mu11 said slowly. Oh, in this case, I am curious about your eternal genius in the upper world. Emperor Lin took a sip of wine and said slowly. You will always meet, don't worry. Just as everyone was talking loudly, the ancient city suddenly became extremely violent. In this restaurant, there were countless guests who finished paying and rushed out of the restaurant quickly. What happened? I don't know. How about we go and have a look? Good. Afterwards, everyone quickly evacuated the restaurant after paying their bills. Immediately, they followed the crowd to the tallest building in the ancient city. At the same time, the crowd was also buzzing. Is it finally here again? Yes, I have been waiting for this day for a long time. Great, as long as I kill a quasi-emperor realm star beast, I can redeem what I want. After a moment, an ancient and vicissitudes of voice came from within the building. Everyone, the beast tide has broken out again. The rules are still the same as before. Hunt the ancient star beasts and obtain star cores to exchange for corresponding things. This time, due to the beginning of the road to all realms, I know that within this ancient starry sky road, there are many geniuses from all heavens and all realms. I will tell you the detailed rules. Then, the owner of this voice explained the detailed rules. Okay, everyone, without further ado, let's go. After the end, all geniuses who participated in the road to all realms, please come to the inside of this ancient city. Boom. As the words fell, countless people turned into a stream of light and flew to a certain place. This should be the opportunity on this road. Linda said excitedly. I just don't know what these star cores can be exchanged for. Do you think, could the 3 imperial arts and the so-called secret arts be included in this? By the way, which imperial art are you here for? Then, Emperor Lin slowly asked the 3 of them. I came here with Xuanhuan, and I don't have any special imperial skills that I want, because our family's imperial skills are already very suitable for me. Mu-11 said slowly. It's because of that part that I destroyed the 9 swords. Dugukaiubai said slowly. 9 swords of burial. Ha 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 ha, we too crashed. Emperor Lin said with a smile. Well, I can feel the faint sword intent emanating from you. It's just right. I've been wanting to have a good fight with you for a long time. Dugukaiubai said with a sharp tone. Okay, of course I'm happy to accompany you. I just want to experience the swordsmanship of the genius from the upper world. Where is this girl Xuanhuan? Which imperial art are you interested in? Minjiao looked at Xuanhuan and asked slowly. To be honest, I don't know. I just have a hunch that this road will have what I want. That's a coincidence, I feel the same way. Minjiao said with a gleam in her eyes. The next moment, she found that Sui beside her was a little bit wrong. Sui, what's wrong with you? Minjiao asked with concern. At this moment, Sui was frowning. After hearing Minjiao's words, she suddenly raised her head and said. For some reason, I always feel that there is something wrong in it. Sui pointed to the building that soared into the sky in front of her. Wrong? Why didn't I feel it? What about you? Me too. Indeed, I didn't notice anything unusual. You know that I am the body of disaster, the source of disaster, and there is a familiar feeling in this building. I am sure it is the breath of disaster. In other words, there may have been some war or more cruel things in this building, at least it is hell on earth. Sui said with a cold look in her eyes. After hearing this, everyone was silent for a while. Okay, Shui, don't worry about these things for now, let's go hunt the ancient star beast first. Okay. After that, several people went together and went to the place where the beast tide broke out. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 475. At the same time, outside the 10,000 worlds, in an ancient palace in the End Realm, an old man with a terrifying aura seemed to be discussing something. How is it, did our people successfully enter the 10,000 worlds road of the 10,000 worlds? An old man with pale hair and a withered figure asked slowly. His aura gave people the feeling of a lonely old man living in the mortal world, working from sunrise to sunset. Don't worry, Elder, the first batch has successfully sneaked in, and no one has noticed it, even Li Bai is probably the same. Yes, Elder, please rest assured, this time on the 10,000 worlds road, we will definitely hunt down their Tianxiao. Nothing can hinder our plan, especially the Tianxiao of the immortal realm, who is our first target. That's right, Please rest assured, Elder. Hearing these answers, a trace of worry appeared on the old man's face with ravines. Although we are protected by that thing, we must not take it lightly. Don't forget that he is Li Bai after all. Don't you know what the 3 words Li Bai mean? As the initiator of the Origin War, no matter how cautious we are, it is not too much. After all, the 10,000 worlds is the most important part of our plan. The old man said very seriously. In fact, I still don't understand. There are many origin realms that are stronger than the 10,000 worlds. Why do we have to devour the 10,000 worlds in this period of time? What's more, there is also a biggest troublemaker among them, Li Bai. Then, a creator asked puzzledly. Alas, it's time to let you know some secrets. The reason why I and they did this is naturally because of Li Bai. We must stop his plan, and those people can't do it themselves, so we have to do it. The old man's eyes were dark and unclear, and at the same time, a wisp of the breath of the acquired originator gradually began to spread. That's right, the strength of this old man is that of an acquired originator, almost standing at the peak of the beginning. Plan. Elder, what is this plan you are talking about? It's very simple, it's Li Bai's reincarnation experiment in the heavens and the worlds. At this point, the old man's tone became obviously heavy, and there was also some worry. Reincarnation experiment in the heavens and the worlds. This, I don't understand it a little bit. To put it simply, in the current heavens and the worlds, most of the things and creatures have actually gone through more than a few rounds of reincarnation, and they have died countless times. This is the reincarnation experiment. Click. Hearing this, almost all the creatures present had their pupils trembling, and their hearts trembled unconsciously. How is this possible? If this is true, how could we not notice it? Yes, reincarnation of an origin world, it is impossible for no news to be leaked, and it cannot be so secretive. Damn, this is too scary. Reincarnation of an origin world is something we dare not even think about. The conditions are too harsh, and it can make us and the creatures in reincarnation unaware, even almost impossible. Hearing this shocking and doubtful words, the old man shook his head and sighed. Haha, you underestimate Li Bai too much, and you overestimate the acquired originator too much. As the initiator of the Origin War and the victorious party in the end, do you think Li Bai can't do this? If this is true, then we are no longer so afraid of Li Bai. You haven't experienced it, you can't imagine how terrifying he is. As the old man spoke, his eyes kept trembling, as if he recalled something. Elder, why does Li Bai want to do this? What's the benefit for him? It's very simple, because he is looking for a way to completely kill the originator. Note, it's the innate originator, not us so-called acquired originators. It's easy to deal with us, Li Bai. The old man's eyes drifted away, with fear in his tone. At this moment, the whole palace was silent. The shock brought to them by the sentence was self-evident. It was definitely the most terrifying secret they had ever heard. Elder, so, this time Li Bai's experiment might. A creator said hesitantly, holding back the fear in his heart. That's right, so this is why I and they must stop it. Even if there is only a 1 in a billion chance, we can't let Li Bai really succeed. Otherwise, what awaits us, is not as simple as death, but an era completely opened up by Li Bai. The tone of the old man seemed to be determined to die, and he must stop Li Bai's success. Elder, Li Bai, how terrifying is he? Terror? It's hard to describe. You know darkness, right? Of course. Primal darkness, can you imagine it? Primal darkness. All of a sudden, these creatures widened their eyes and bit their lips tightly. That's right, it's the primitive darkness, something that even the innate originators don't want to provoke. Once, the original darkness imprisoned Li Bai for a period of time, but in the end, he came out unscathed. Not only that, he seems to have a close connection with the source of darkness in the original darkness, and this darkness is the dark disaster, all the disasters, ominousness, terror, the real source of countless eras. Not only that, there are many creatures that are even stronger than me, who are closely connected with Li Bai. You should have felt the weirdness that happened some time ago. The old man asked slowly. Weird? Elder, you mean, that decay? Yes, according to them, this decay originated from Li Bai, and, in that incident, Li Bai also, saw an unimaginable existence. At this moment, the old man's body seemed to be trembling. As for the reason for the trembling, it might be Li Bai, or even the existence he mentioned. After a long time, the whole palace was left with only cold silence, and even the sound of breathing could not be heard. No one knows how much shock these words brought to them. They thought that at their level, they had a certain tolerance for these secrets of medicine, but now it seems that it was just their self-consolation. At the level of creatures like Li Bai, they are just insignificant ants, including this old man. Elder, don't worry, we will stop it even if we die. That's right. Oh, I hope so. I don't beg for success, but at least delay a little time. By the way, haven't you found the girl from the Han family yet? Then, the old man changed this heavy topic. If he continued, he was afraid that he would be completely lost in despair. Is it the one who overheard some of our secrets? Yes. Elder, I'm sorry, we haven't found her yet. We have explored countless worlds, but there is still no news, as if it has sunk into the sea. No matter what, we must find her. After finding her, we must kill her immediately. The plan cannot be leaked at all, let alone heard by Li Bai, do you understand? The old man said very seriously. Yes, Elder, we know. We will do it immediately. After that, these creatures left the palace one after another, and the old man hesitated for a while and said to himself. Li Bai, have you really seen the seventh one? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 476. Perhaps the last words of this originator will eventually be buried in the long river of history. There is no way of knowing, and no living being can answer them. At the same time, he has an extremely strong intuition that all of this will eventually be just the awakening from a big dream. Meng Huangliang, in the final chapter, leaves an absurd ending. At the same time, in every world, the clones created by Li Bai have gradually disappeared into the crowd. The concealment of these minions is very good, so good that at the first time, these clones of Li Bai were not visible. Discover. At this moment, on the road to all realms in the realm of the great emperor. Different from the road to all realms in the realm of the God King, there is no guidance at this level. All opportunities and all secrets can only be groped forward in the darkness with the help of a candle. Sister Nan Yi, we have been walking in this space for who knows how long, but we haven't encountered a single living being. Don't you think it's strange? De Wang, who turned into a human form, stared at the strange and dead surroundings and asked slowly. De Wang, are you blind? There are so many corpses here, can't you see them? The Cao Emperor on the side said slowly. It seems like you talk too much, right? I'm talking about living people. Okay, stop arguing. After I was promoted to the Great Emperor, I also walked through the road of all realms, but this time it is obviously different and a huge transformation has taken place. According to my observation, the aura of these corpses is very old, and they do not belong to the creatures of this era. This place should be an ancient battlefield in the era of chaos, or even more ancient, but I don't know who the creatures fighting between the two sides are. What an identity. We must be extremely careful. Nanyi frowned and said. From the moment she stepped into this space, she noticed how strange it was. It seemed like a world forgotten by time. She could clearly feel that the flow of time here was much slower than the outside world. The most bizarre thing is that they have been wandering here for an unknown amount of time, but they haven't even met a living being. This was impossible in the previous road to the world. Sister Nanyi is right. No matter what, we must be cautious, because we are probably already outside the world at this moment. The old willow tree is beside it, the willow branches are constantly swaying, and the stars are like twinkling stars. Just when Nanyi and others went deep into the hinterland, in an instant, as if some formation had been touched, the entire ancient battlefield suddenly leaked out wisps of murderous aura from countless underground cracks. These murderous auras eventually gradually gathered into a bloody storm, as if able to swallow up a small world. There is something abnormal, be prepared. When Nanyi saw this, he stared at everyone and said, and then everyone also entered into combat preparations to prepare for emergencies. Then, just as Nanyi said, in the bloody storm, the virtual beast formed by the condensed murderous auras slowly appeared, staring at Nanyi and others with blood-red eyes. Their realms were all the realm of the great emperor. Damn it, am I reading that right? These phantom beasts condensed with murderous aura are, actually all in the realm of the great emperor. Damn it, what kind of realm were these fallen creatures in their lifetime? Xuanhuan kept rubbing his eyes and asked. However, before they could think about it, these virtual beasts launched a battle directly against several people with terrifying roars. Boom! The whole world seems to be shaking. Everyone, fight! No problem. Thousands of phantom spirits, and in an instant, wisps of imperial power erupted. At this moment, this ancient battlefield seemed to have returned to the scene of fighting at that time. The imperial power in the sky was wrapped with terrifying killing moves, and it was constantly waving towards the condensed murderous aura. Void Beast. Immortal Sword. Nanyi pointed her sword at the same time, her eyes were fierce, filled with the majesty of the peerless empress. With one stroke of her sword, the galaxy shook, and all the Buddhas in the sky trembled. In an instant, a seemingly ordinary sword struck through the bodies of these virtual beasts as if they were in a deserted state. In just a 10,000th of a second, several of the virtual beasts in the realm of the great emperor turned into foam. On the other side, the grass emperor transformed into his true form, a small grass. With every vibration of the leaves, a peerless sword light emerged, directly killing an imaginary beast. It was worthy of being called a grass by all living beings in the immortal realm. Can cut down the sun, moon, and stars, can cut down the emperor's grass. Dawang and Lao Liasha did not hesitate to give in. They directly used their imperial skills and killed several virtual beasts in an instant. However, after a quarter of an hour, several people realized something was wrong. Dawang and Old Willow's faces were even paler, and their aura was much weaker than before. What's going on? I can't kill all these virtual beasts. Dawang said with slightly disturbed breathing. It's really strange. According to theory, no matter how many lives are lost in the ancient battlefield, the murderous intent cannot be endless. Unless. Speaking of this, Emperor Cao's eyes suddenly flashed with a hint of heaviness. Unless what? Unless a supreme emperor who proves his way by killing has fallen here, or the realm is even more terrifying. Nanyi took over Caod's unfinished words and said with great solemnity. Is there any great emperor in all the worlds who can prove the Tao through killing? Dawang asked doubtfully. There are, and there are many of them, but none of them have reached the supreme realm, let alone the advanced one. Just when a few people were killing each other until the sky was dark, all of these virtual beasts suddenly turned into wisps of blood-red murderous aura. Then, they continued to condense in the void, and finally the phantom of a middle-aged man slowly emerged. There were scars crisscrossing the man's cheek, and his aura was extremely terrifying. After he appeared, Nanyi and others immediately felt a sense of powerlessness in their hearts, as if this man was some irresistible terrifying existence. This is the aura of advance. Nanyi's eyes narrowed, and there was shock in his tone. Go first, how is it possible, how can there be a shadow of first go on our road? Could it be that the spirits of all realms and the others made a mistake? Impossible, absolutely impossible, how could they make a mistake? You are the creatures of all heavens and worlds. The man's tone was calm, neither happy nor sad, making it impossible to hear any changes in emotion. To be honest, Senior, we are indeed the creatures of all heavens and worlds. Nanyi said respectfully, no matter what, the other party is also a fallen shadow, and they cannot stop it. Tisk, how many epochs have passed, you are the first living beings to step here. The realm is acceptable. What are your names? Xueying asked slowly. Senior, my name is Nanyi. Nanyi, that's right. You can reach immortality with a mortal body. It's beyond my expectation. I can see that you are very scary in your heart. Thank you for the compliment, Senior. The man first praised Nanyi, then turned around and asked Xuanhuan. What about you? My name is Xuanhuan. Little Grass. Senior, just call me Little Willow. The three people said respectfully, there is no way, people have to bow their heads under the eaves, facing a senior leader, no matter how humble they are, it is not an exaggeration. Oh, interesting, really interesting. A mortal dog, a blade of grass, and a tree gave birth to spiritual wisdom? Let's not talk about it for the moment, but they all cultivated to the realm of the great emperor. It's not simple, it's not simple. A ray of light flashed in the man's eyes, as if he had already seen everything about everyone. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 477. Strange, very strange, I can't even deduce you. You are not affected by cause and effect, not affected by fate. No, it seems not you, but who is it? After a moment, the man changed the subject and asked with great doubt, his eyes were full of puzzlement, as if he had encountered such a strange thing for the first time. As a pioneer, he was unable to deduce the cause and effect and fate of the emperor, which was an incredible thing, not to mention that there was a strange breath on Nanyi and others. I don't believe it. After speaking, the man's eyes flashed with a trace of light, and his eyes seemed to have turned into a chaotic vortex at this moment. Then, a wisp of invisible breath on Nanyi and others was constantly sucked into the vortex. Then, in his mind, a picture slowly appeared. In the cold and lonely deep space, it seemed like a space frozen in time forever, with countless corpses floating around. These corpses ranged from the great emperor, to the forerunner, to the creator, to the master, and even to the corpses of realms that he could not even detect. Suddenly, the man's breathing seemed to stop. This picture was far beyond his imagination, and he could not imagine what kind of war could create such a horrible scene. Just as the man was terrified, he caught a glimpse of a figure in white sitting quietly on a throne in the center. His face could not be seen, and his strength could not be detected. Then, a line of sight that seemed to have crossed the ages and the long river of time fell on him. In an instant, the blood in his body seemed to be solidified, and his soul fell into hell forever. Just a vague line of sight made him feel as if he had died. Then, the picture shattered in an instant, and everything slowly disappeared. Who? The man came back to his senses, panting heavily, as if he was facing a great enemy, and his whole body was soaked with cold sweat. Senior. Finally, with Nanyi's calls, the man gradually calmed down. After a long silence, The man looked at Nanyi and asked carefully, "Who is your master? Can you tell me?" The tone of this sentence was full of negotiation, not the kind of force before. "Senior, do you really want to know?" Nanyi asked suspiciously. "If you can, please tell me." The man answered affirmatively. "Okay, I hope you are mentally prepared. My master is called Li Baiyi, and he has another name, the White-Robed Emperor." Nanyi said word by word. Boom. In an instant, when the 4 words White-Robed Emperor entered his ears, the whole person seemed to have suffered a heavenly punishment, torn into pieces, and his spirit almost collapsed. After a long time, the man's voice trembled, and he carefully said word by word. "Baiyi Emperor. Are you telling the truth? Senior, do you think I would lie to you about this matter?" "Don't, Auntie, I can't stand being called like this." The man immediately panicked. In fact, he had already confirmed Nanyi's answer in his heart. However, what was his identity? He was not qualified to bear the word senior. Li Baiyi's disciple, the meaning of these 5 words is absolutely unimaginable to ordinary creatures. The higher the realm, the more fearful, and the more you can understand the horror. I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect that I would wait for the disciple of Baiyi Emperor day after year. Is this my good luck or bad luck? The man said with a wry smile. "Senior, what do you mean by this?" Nanyi asked doubtfully. "Can you recognize my identity?" The man asked slowly. "This, we don't know." "Well, we really don't know." "Well, that's right. After all, the time between you and me is too long. It's normal that you don't know. Let me introduce myself. I am Wuxian, Baimian. I am a living being in the heavens and the worlds. At that time, people called me the Killing Emperor. However, I prefer the title of Wuxian." A trace of memories flashed in Baimian's eyes. "Wuxian, Baimian, why have I never heard of them?" "Me too, I have never heard of them." And Nanyi seemed to have recalled something and said in astonishment. "Senior, you are Wuxian Baimian Emperor. Little ant, I told you, you don't have to call me that. I am not qualified. You can call me Baimian. Senior, there is nothing I can do. If my master knew about it, he would definitely scold me." Nanyi said, shaking his head. "Okay, I can't beat you. But, it seems that you know me, little Nanyi." Baimian said with a smile, his tone unconsciously filled with pampering. It can be said that as long as the creatures who are close to Li Bai or have followed him know Nanyi's identity, they will be pampered, without exception. Otherwise, why has no creature ever betrayed Li Bai? "Well, I heard Brother Kingdi say it." "Kingdi? Oh, that's right, after all, you are the disciple of Bai Emperor, and I fell a while earlier than Kingdi." Baimian said after thinking. "Sister Nanyi, who is she?" De Wang asked impatiently. "If I remember correctly, the martial immortal Baimian Emperor, one of them, the Eternal Emperor, was born in the early days of chaos just like Brother Kingdi. He was the earliest batch of chaotic creatures in the heavens and worlds. He proved the way through killing and ascended to the past. Ranked 105 on the Eternal Emperor list." Nanyi said slowly. Hum. Holy shit. The 3 people in Dawang were stunned for a moment. They did not expect to see an emperor who had been on the Eternal Emperor list again. It was really rare in this world. The last emperor who was on the Eternal Emperor list was still in Nanyi. That ancient time. Eternal Emperor, this. No wonder the murderous aura here seems to be endless. That's it? After hearing what De Wang and others said, Baimian smiled, and said. These are all in the past, and Wuxian Baimian has already fallen into the long river of time. However, I am very happy to be remembered by future generations. The hero dies in his old age. This is an unchangeable and tragic ending, but full of mystery. Perhaps the process is full of amazing things, but everything will eventually be accompanied by death and return to dust. This is fate, the fate of every living being. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 478. Senior Baimian, so the luck you said is because of our arrival, and the misfortune you said is also because of our arrival. Then, Nanyi asked slowly. Nanyi, you are right. I have been waiting here for endless epochs just to find a successor. Although I have fallen, I still hope that the name of Wuxian can continue to be passed down. After all, it is given to me by the adults. But, it's a pity. You are all people around the adults. I am not worthy of this inheritance after all. Baimian said dejectedly. Senior Baimian, what happened here? Nanyi asked slowly. You should be able to feel that this was once an ancient battlefield. It should be traced back to the early days of the Chaos Era. There was a great war in the heavens and the worlds. I remember that there were 2 wars in the Chaos Era, but those 2 times cannot be called great wars. Nanyi said with a frown. Of course, because the Lord personally wiped out all traces of that war. Erased by Master. Nanyi was shocked. He had never heard Li Bai mention this matter. The reason is actually very simple. That war was not aimed at the creatures of the heavens and the worlds, but the heavenly Dao of the heavens and the worlds. Baimian finally emphasized the 4 words of the heavens and the worlds. After hearing this, De Huang and others immediately became confused. When did the heavenly Dao exist in the heavens and the worlds? The heavenly Dao of the heavens and the worlds, what does it mean? Is there a heavenly Dao in the heavens and the worlds? I don't know, I've never heard of it. And Nanyi seemed to have suddenly thought of something, and suddenly said. Senior Baimian, you should be talking about the supervisors, right? Ha ha ha, you are worthy of being the Lord's apprentice. Yes, it is indeed those supervisors. Baimian said with a smile. Could it be the 2 that the master killed last time? It should be, otherwise, I can't think of anyone else who meets the identity of the heavenly Dao of the 10,000 worlds. No wonder they are so afraid of you, it turns out that they have fought before. Hearing the words of De Huang and others, Baimian's eyes flashed with a strange color, and he hurriedly asked. What do you mean by what you said just now? Then, De Huang stared at Nanyi blankly, and the meaning in his eyes was very simple, that is, Sister Nanyi, you tell me. Senior Baimian, just a few days before the opening of the road to 10,000 worlds, the master told us some secrets, and after telling these secrets, those supervisors appeared. In the end, one supervisor died in the hands of the master, and the other died voluntarily in the hands of the master. Nanyi slowly revealed this matter. Voluntarily die. This is not like their style. Nanyi, does the supervisor have a code name? Emperor Baimian asked in confusion. The code name seems to be 13. And she finally gave herself a name, Menjiao. Hearing Nanyi's answer, Emperor Baimian suddenly realized. 13, it turned out to be her. Haha, I didn't expect that she would eventually get a name for herself at the cost of death. What an amazing woman. I have to say that among all the supervisors, she is the woman who impressed us the most. Emperor Baimian suddenly said, his thoughts seemed to be pulled back to the scene when he first saw Menjiao. By the way, Nanyi, what secret did you just tell me about? Then, Emperor Baimian returned to his thoughts and asked solemnly. Well, about the originator. The secret of the originator. Baimian widened his eyes and was shocked. That's right, it's the secret of the originator. Nanyi, can you tell me? Just when Nanyi was hesitating, a feminine voice suddenly rang out from all around. Oh, a soul of a pioneer, it's really an unexpected delicacy, what a pity. Not only that, there are a few cute little guys. I am really blessed. Then, a man with pale skin and no blood color, and a beautiful appearance, slowly appeared in front of everyone. This person is the slave soul master who appeared before. Is this woman or man? She-male. When De Huang heard the man's voice, he got goosebumps all over his body. It was too pretentious and disgusting. Little yellow dog, you are very rude to say that. The man said with a smile. Although his smile was beautiful, it was full of chilling danger. Who are you? Why are you here? The eyes of the Northern Crown Emperor flashed a trace of heaviness. He could feel that the strength of the man in front of him was terrifying, and, it seemed that he was not a living being. You don't know me, but I know you, Wuxian Baimian, a legendary emperor on the Eternal Emperor list. Seeing you again is the same as before. The slave soul master did not answer Baimian's question directly. When have we met? How come I don't have the slightest impression of you? Emperor Baimian said in great confusion. Of course, after all, it was your evil thoughts that met me. What a pity, you killed me with your own hands in the end. After hearing this, Emperor Baimian suddenly realized. It turned out to be because of my evil thoughts, no wonder you said you knew me. I wonder what your intention is for appearing here. Also, it seems that you should tell us your name. Emperor Baimian changed the subject and asked solemnly. I don't have a name, but I am called the slave soul master by some creatures. Of course, I am also a creature in the heavens and the worlds. Hearing this, Nanyi and others frowned, as if they had never heard of such a creature in the heavens and the worlds. What a strange name, have you heard of it? No, I just searched through my memories, and there is no impression at all, as if the world has never appeared. Slave soul master, so, no, wait. I remember that you are the inanimate creature of the world. An evil spirit that cultivates with the evil thoughts of the world. The Northern Crown Emperor said in horror. He didn't know much about the enslaved soul master, but he knew the most terrifying thing, that is, the soul of the enslaved creator. Impossible, weren't you united by those old bald donkeys and buried in the sea of suffering? The Northern Crown Emperor asked in horror. He naturally knew the horror of those old bald donkeys, but if that was true, how did the enslaved soul master survive? I was indeed buried in the sea of suffering at that time, but I survived because of one person. Who? The white-clothed emperor. The enslaved soul master said with great respect. Master. Master. Sir. Nanyi and the others were surprised. In an instant, these words reached the ears of the slave soul master. What did you just say? White-robed emperor, is it you, master? The slave soul master was surprised. Yes, senior, yes. How is it possible? How could the white-robed emperor accept a disciple? But a creature as strong as the green emperor, the white-robed emperor. Before the slave soul master finished speaking, a calm but magical voice came slowly. Nothing is impossible. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 479. Immediately, Li Bai's figure slowly appeared in front of everyone. Master. Owner. Nanyi and others shouted in surprise. The Emperor in White, you are really the Emperor in White. Emperor Baimian's expression became extremely excited and he said with a slightly choked tone. Master in White. The slave soul master also shouted in a daze. Long time no see, Baimian. Slave the soul master. Li Bai smiled at the two of them and said. Baimian, See the Emperor in white. The slave soul master has met the Lord. The two immediately shouted with great respect. Sir, Baimian can see you again, so good. At this moment, Baimian was like a lost child who had found his parents, with hot tears constantly flowing from his eyes. I'm also happy to see you all again. Especially you, Xiaoling. When the slave soul master heard this title, he burst into tears. He didn't expect that Li Bai actually remembered this name. Lord Bai, do you still remember this name? You really remember that name? Yes, my name is Xiaoling, I am not some enslaving soul master. My name is Xiaoling, you know. The enslaved soul master seems to be crazy and at a loss at this moment. It's just a name, why is the reaction so big? He should be the same as Menu. He just wants a name that is exclusive to him, instead of a code name like 13, enslaving soul master. Nanyi said slowly. I don't understand. It's just a name, something so easy to get. How can it be so difficult for them? Perhaps this is also a kind of helplessness for creatures like them. Later, Li Bai first chatted with Emperor Baimian about many things, including the so-called secrets of the originator. Ha 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 ha. I knew you could do it, sir. We have never doubted you, sir. It's just a pity, we can't be alive to listen to your story after all. However, it is enough that you still remember us, sir. Baimian laughed to tears, and then said with mixed feelings. Are you, all okay? After Li Bai stared at Emperor Baimian for a while, he said something with unknown meaning. Sir, I know what you want to say. However, I believe that it's not just me, they also think the same as me, and they don't have any regrets. That period of time was our most brilliant and glorious time. You led us to the pinnacle of that era, and we have benefited a lot. So, sir, you don't need to blame yourself, we are willing to be chess pieces. Emperor Baimian said with great solemnity. After a long time, I heard Li Bai sigh. Oh, after all, I still feel sorry for you. Sir, you are serious. Why don't we know the final outcome? We just feel that we have not done well enough. Just like Qing Emperor and others, we are sorry for you and have failed to live up to your expectations. Really speaking, we still owe you an apology. What you said reminds me of someone. Li Bai murmured. Sir, you are not talking about her. Yes, she once made a vow in front of me, but, in the end I failed to save her. Sir, I would like to ask, do you have any regrets in this life? Emperor Baimian said slowly. Pity. Who can have no regrets, and I, Li Bai, am no exception. Xiaoju, Wu Qing, Qing Emperor, Shi, etc. eventually became my regrets. Not only that, these regrets are gradually wearing away with the passage of time. I will also be afraid. One day, after I find the answer, I will look back and find that I am the only one left on this road, while they are gradually forgotten by me. Li Bai shook his head and sighed. Master. At this moment, Nanyi whispered softly and hugged Li Bai's arm tightly. As someone who followed Li Bai tens of millions of years ago, she could understand Li Bai's words very well at this moment. She had also seen with your own eyes the regret left by Li Bai. Nanyi, it's okay, don't worry, I'm just complaining. I have long been used to it after a long period of time. Li Bai comforted softly. Okay, sir, it's time for me as a phantom. By the way, sir, I wonder if I can trouble you with something. Just say it, there is no need to say anything between you and me. Li Bai nodded and said. Just help me find a successor. I don't want the destiny of martial immortal you gave me to be forgotten by the world in the long river of time. Emperor Baimian said solemnly. Okay, I promise you. Thank you, sir. Alas, I still can't bear to say goodbye after all. Sir, you once told us that when a boy grows up to a certain extent, he will look back and find that the rugged road is already full of flowers, but, we can't look back. Sir, I hope you can find the answer already, and then look back at the sea of flowers that are already in full bloom for us. Then, Emperor Baimian slowly dissipated under Li Bai's gaze. Suddenly hearing this, Li Bai's heart seemed to be touched, and he slowly said, "Don't worry, Li Bai, will." Then, Li Bai looked at the enslaved soul master again. Just as he was about to speak, he heard Li Bai say, "Hush, wait a moment, he's coming. There are a few more, the creatures behind are waiting for the opportunity." After that, Li Bai disappeared into the void. Him. Who is he, who is coming? I'm not coming. Then, the people who were still in a daze only felt an extremely powerful breath breaking through the space. Then, a Buddha, no, to be precise, an evil Buddha, slowly appeared in front of everyone. At this moment, he stared at the enslaved soul master with his eyes fixed, and said greedily, "I finally found you." Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 480. Is this the old bald donkey? No, it's impossible for those old bald donkeys in the Buddhist country to have such an evil aura. It's not like I haven't seen them before. De Wang stared at the evil Buddha in front of him and said hesitantly, "Yes, to be precise, it should be an evil Buddha. Not only that, he is very powerful. Just a wisp of breath from him makes it difficult for me to breathe," Nanyi said solemnly from the side. At this moment, after the enslaved soul master carefully stared at the evil Buddha, he suddenly remembered the words of the third venerable admonishing him, he must be careful about his disciples. Combined with the rebellious aura exuding in front of him, the enslaved soul master instantly knew the identity of the other party. "Oh, it's you. The disciple of the third venerable, that evil Buddha with a murderous and rebellious heart. If I guess wrong, you should be called Prajna, right?" The slave soul master said calmly. "I didn't expect that the famous slave soul master would know me. I'm really honored." Prajna stared at the slave soul master, licked his lips greedily and said, "I'm curious, how did you find me?" The slave soul master rubbed his face and said slowly, "Of course it's him." After saying that, Prajna threw a head directly to the slave soul master. The moment the head appeared, a faint forerunner aura immediately filled the space. The face of this head carries unparalleled fear, as if something extremely terrible happened before it was alive. The owner of this head is none other than Xuanhuan. However, now he has been tortured and killed by Prajna in an unimaginable way. Killing a forerunner like this shows how strong Prajna is. No wonder that after seeing the enslaved soul master, there was no fear at all, only greed that overflowed from the body. I see. Useless things. The enslaved soul master looked at it with disgust, then waved his hand, and in an instant, Hai Huangling's head turned into nothingness. "It seems that the betrayer is you, right? Did you steal your master's relic and exchange it for something with Hai Huangling?" Then, the enslaved soul master said calmly, "Yes, your guess is correct. Why not guess the conditions?" Prajna was not in a hurry to take action. He wanted to take action when his greed reached its peak. As for Nanyi and others on the side, they were already dead in front of him. "Find me and be my slave." The enslaved soul master replied without thinking. "Ha ha ha ha, smart, the smarter you are, the more excited I am." Prajna said like a madman. "I'm curious, why you must get me?" "It's simple, because, evil thoughts. Evil thoughts in all the worlds. Yes, you can say that it is a combination of these evil thoughts. Tell me, how can I resist the temptation? In this case, you should know that I was buried in a sea of misery by those arhats. Have you never thought that I have really fallen? Or, I won't perish. The slave soul master frowned and asked. This was the most incredible thing for him, because when he first met Xuanhuan, he happened to be in the time period when he was rescued from the Sea of Suffering by Li Bai, and at this time Duan, Prajna should have also heard the news of his death, but why did he deal with Xuanhuan later? Hearing this, Prajna showed an extremely weird smile. You think I don't know, it was Li Bai who saved you. After hearing these words, the slave soul master froze on the spot for an instant, his eyes filled with unstoppable astonishment. How did you know? Impossible, absolutely impossible that you saw it with your own eyes, someone must have told you. You don't need to know this. Prajna felt the aura of evil thoughts emanating from the body of the enslaved soul master, and finally couldn't bear it any longer. Kill them first, and then let me taste you. Damn it, this guy is so perverted. It makes grass feel sick. Also makes the tree feel sick. When De Wang and others heard Prajna's words, their eyes flashed with disgust. Since you know it was Lord Bai who saved me, aren't you afraid? The slave soul master said calmly. Afraid? Why should I be afraid? Just because you are afraid of Li Bai, doesn't mean I have to be afraid of him too. Hearing these words, Li Bai, who was hiding in the void, unconsciously smiled. Interesting. Great mercy palm. After saying that, Prajna struck out directly at Nanyi and others. In an instant, the entire ancient battlefield seemed to be trembling. A big blood-red hand that covered the sky and the sun directly covered the entire space. Strangely, this palm seemed to be able to save all things, but it could also kill all things. Boom. The next moment, the enslaved soul master took action. He waved his slender, pale, and soft, boneless palm, and in an instant, the palm print disappeared directly into this ancient battlefield. At the same time, Li Bai seemed to feel something in the void and said softly. They finally showed up. Oh, you want to protect them? Seeing this scene, Prajna frowned and asked. What do you think? The slave soul master said calmly. Interesting, when did the slave soul master do such a thing? It doesn't seem like you. In that case, I will kill them ruthlessly. Ridiculous, if you knew their identities, you would never have such a stupid idea. The slave soul master sneered, looking at the evil Buddha with a mocking look in his eyes. Ha ha ha, there is no creature in the heavens and the worlds that I, Prajna, dare not kill. Double-faced Buddha statue, Prajna region. After saying that, Prajna directly burst out with her own physical abnormality. In an instant, the whole space seemed to be rendered by wisps of golden light. At the same time, a double-faced Buddha statue of tens of thousands of feet slowly appeared. On one side, with a solemn expression, closed eyes, and golden light on the body, it seemed that it was the God and Buddha who saved the world from suffering. On the other side, the face was hideous, full of evil, full of murderous aura, as if it brought hell to the world. Then, the Buddha statue waved his hands directly at the slave soul master, Nanyi, and others, and the two-faced Buddha suddenly opened his eyes. In an instant, the boundless sea of purgatory appeared under the feet of everyone, and countless creatures killed by the evil Buddha in the sea of suffering were staring at everyone. Evil thoughts are everywhere. Seeing this, the slave soul master waved his hand, and in an instant, countless evil thoughts of the creatures in the heavens and the world continued to emerge, and there were also many evil thoughts. The phantoms made Nanyi and others very familiar. We can't just sit and wait for death, go. Nanyi said coldly. Okay, Sister Nanyi. After that, Nanyi and others continued to fight with the resting creatures in the sea of suffering.